Welcome back friends. Now we discuss about the recombinant DNA technology. And first of all, this recombinant DNA technology is proposed by the P. Laban and the or Laban and A. Dale Kaiser scientists. Okay. Now we discuss this is a nothing but an in vitro technique of genetic manipulation. So here we what we make here we make the recombinant DNA, and this is performed in practically in lab. Next, so this for making the recombinant DNA by joining the piece of DNA from the unrelated organism. So the DNA from the two different organism is joined and to form the recombinant DNA is called the recombinant DNA technology. Next is the step involved in recombinant DNA technology is number one is the selection and identification and isolation of desired gene. Number two is the selection of suitable vector. Number three is the insertion of that desired gene into the vector by using the restriction enzyme, that is nothing but a gene splicing. Next is the introduction of recombinant DNA into the suitable host cell and multiplication of gene, that is nothing but a gene cloning. Next is the selection and identification of recombinant cell of transform cell and get the product, and last is the product. 2 minutes. And last is a product. So finally we get the product. Now we see the number. Now we see the how the steps is. Now one by one we see these steps in detail. So number one is a selection and identification of desired gene. So suppose our desired gene is insulin gene. So how we can isolate that gene? So we can isolate the gene from the three different sources. Number one, from the genomic DNA, from the mRNA, or from the gene synthesizer machine. So number one, if we want to isolate DNA from genomic DNA, how we can isolate our desired gene from genomic DNA? Suppose our desired gene is insulin gene and that we want to isolate. So first of all, for the isolation of desired gene from the genomic DNA, so this insulin gene is present in a beta cell of pancreas. So first of all, beta cells of pancreas we isolate, then perform with centrifugation, and for the by the centrifugation we separate all the component of the cells, protein, DNA, all they get separate. Next we get a DNA and we cut that DNA with the help of different restriction enzymes, and then that restriction fragment, nothing but a DNA fragment, that DNA fragment then we separate by the electrophoresis, and by the with the help of probes we identified that our insulin gene. In this way we get our insulin gene in lab. Okay, next is then we perform the PCR to get a large number of copies of our desired gene. Now from the mRNA, so from the mRNA how we isolate desired gene? So for that we want to isolate the mRNA from the pancreatic cell. Again same process takes place. Instead of DNA, here after the centrifugation we isolate the mRNA. So for that how we perform the centrifugation, all that you can get on all that we cannot. So if we see all that, so this video becomes too long. So for that I wish we keep this in a short way. Next is a reverse transcriptase. So here reverse transcriptase and deoxynucleotide is act on a mRNA. So to reverse transcriptase convert mRNA into the DNA, and then this DNA nucleotide is added by this enzyme that require, and we get our desired gene with the help of mRNA, that is human insulin gene. Next is from the gene machine we can isolate. You can see on a screen. So we can isolate from the gene synthesizer machine, or is also called amino sequencing machine, that synthesize our desired gene. So with the help of machine also we can directly obtain our desired gene. Next is the suitable vector used for. Next is a suitable vector. Next our step is selection of suitable vector. So number one is a plasmid. So number of vectors we are uses for the transfer of our desired gene into the host cell. Now this vector is nothing but what? This vector is nothing but a vehicle that is used for transfer of desired gene into the host cell. Okay, so this act like a vehicle. Next there are number of vectors is there. Number one is the plasmid, next is the bacteriophage, next is the cosmid, next is phasmid, shuttle vector, transposome, liposome. Number of, so we have a number of vectors. So if we consider the plasmid, so plasmid have the, for example, the plasmid PBR32 and TI plasmid is mostly used for the plant to transfer desired into the plant. Next is a bacteriophage. Bacteriophage like lambda phage and M13 phage is used for a transfer of desired gene. Next is the cosmid. Cosmid is nothing but is made up of, is nothing but a combination of DNA cosmid, combination of plasmid and cos site of, combination of, is nothing but a combination of plasmid and the cos site of this lambda phage DNA. So for example, cosmid is a PJB8. Next is a phasmid. Phasmid is a phasmid. So it's nothing but a combination of viral DNA and the plasmid. Next is the shuttle vector. It is used for a transfer of desired gene into the host cell like E. coli and yeast, means prokaryotic and eukaryotic. For both the purpose, for the both the cell to transfer, this vector is used. Next is the transposomes, that is also used, and liposome. So depending on our, depending on which cell we want to transfer, we want to select this desired gene. Okay, so suppose we select the PBR32, then how? Suppose you can select this PBR32 because we want to insert our insulin gene into the human cell. Next is ideal characteristic of this vector. So now the what is ideal characteristic of vector means, vector means actually what vector have, or which we can call the vector. For example, the self-replicating. So vector is a must possess, number one is a self-replicating, so they can replicate by their own. So plasmid have the ability to replicate. Next is the they have the origin side from which the DNA replication is start, so they must replicate. Next is they have a marker gene like antibiotic resistant gene or DI genes, they must have. Next is the relaxed mode of replication or multiple copy number. So they have the multiple copy number. They can replicate their self in number of copies. Next is a cloning site present in a marker gene. Cloning site is present in marker gene. So here we can insert our desired gene. Next is a they have the low molecular weight and not easily damaged. Next is they are easy to isolate and purify also. So we can easily also get that vector, whether it is plasmid or cosmid or bacteriophage, we have to get easily that, and we can purify also that easily. So this is the ideal characteristic of vector. Now we want to see one important thing, that vector is the naturally occurring vector. For example, the plasmid is not that naturally occurring, means from the bacteria we isolate a plasmid, and that plasmid is not used directly, because they not have all the characteristic. Like now we see the ideal characteristic, that plasmid is not possessed, that vector is not possessed, not naturally occurring. So we need to modify them. So artificial in lab we modify the naturally occurring vector in lab, nothing but in vitro, and then we use after the construction of that plasmid, then we use that plasmid, then we insert a desired gene in them, and by insertion in inactivation method. So next is, so this is our first vector, that is nothing but a vector PBR322, nothing but a plasmid. So this is an example of plasmid vector, example of plasmid vector PBR322. So this PBR322 have the BAM H1, HIND3, ECO R1. This is nothing but a, so this is nothing but the restriction enzymes are the restriction site. Next is the AMPR, TETR. This is nothing but a antibiotic resistance, nothing but a gene, nothing but a marker gene. So this is a marker gene. Next is they have the oocyte. So all in this way this plasmid is constructed, and this is used mainly for to transfer the desired gene into the host cell like E. coli, means prokaryotic, and the size of this is 4363 base pair. Okay, so we insert our desired gene in this any of AMPR or TETR site. Next is a TI plasmid. So this TI plasmid is only naturally present in plant. Okay, so this TI plasmid naturally present in plant, but we not directly use, we modify first of all, then we reconstruct them. So oncogene is present, because of oncogene is present in naturally occurring TI plasmid that regulate the transfer of tDNA. That's why we first of all modify them or reconstruct them and then use for a transfer of transfer into the E. coli and so that regulatory gene, that control gene is first of all we cut. Okay, so this is a tDNA region. This is the left border, this is the right border. This is the origin of replication, virulent region. You can insert your desired gene into any of these tDNA. We can insert our desired gene here. The oncogene that present in this region, that is removed. Present in this region, that is removed. Okay. Next is bacteriophage. So bacteriophage, like this is an example of lambda phage. This is an example of lambda phage. So this lambda phage and the DNA of lambda phage, this is a DNA of lambda phage, and this DNA contain the head region, tail host site, replication site. Nothing but this is nothing but a head region. Means what? This gene, this head region or this region have the gene, and that gene produce a protein, and that protein then develop into the head. Okay, similarly tail, this region also contain the tail gene, so that produce a specific protein, and that protein is converted into the tail. Okay, similarly that. And this is a non-essential region. I mean this is non-essential, means they not have any role, they just as it is, they the junk DNA. Okay, so here we can insert our desired gene or in a non-essential region of this DNA of the DNA of what? DNA of lambda phage. So here we accommodate a large DNA like lytic cycle, large DNA, and the lytic cycle is performed in that. You can see that how the lytic cycle is performed. So here we 10 to 14 base pair or less than that of gene, we can insert it here desired gene having the size 10 to 15 kilo base pair or less than that. Okay, so DNA size is double stranded DNA, and this double stranded DNA have a size 15 kilo base pair, and we introduce this much of DNA in the bacteriophage, and this is larger than the plasmid. Next is DNA of M13 phage. So this M13 phage have the DNA size 4.4 kilo base pair, and this is nothing but a single stranded circular DNA. Okay, and this lambda phage M13 phage DNA. So M13 virus infect the cell with the sex pili. This bacteria have the sex pili that is responsible for conjugation, for the transfer of plasmid. Okay, so for that, so the bacteria have the sex pili, only that bacteria is infected by M13. Next, this infect the E. coli. So this M13 phase or M13, so M13 phase is insert. So M13 phase infect the E. coli and replicate to infect the E. coli. So when they infect the E. coli, nothing but a bacteria, when they sit on a bacteria and insert the desired their single stranded circular DNA into the bacteria, when inserted into the bacteria, this first is single stranded, so first is converted into the double stranded, and then after converting into the double stranded, then at that time we isolate the desired gene. At that time we isolate this DNA, and that is nothing but this double stranded DNA we isolate at that time, and that DNA is then we insert a desired gene into that, and we reconstruct the vector, and then that is used for a transfer of desired gene, then insert into that, and then on a E. coli for the transfer of that our rDNA into the, then the transfer of that desired gene into the our vector. Okay, and this is excluded from the cell, and this size of 15th to 500 to 2000 kilobase per of DNA we can insert here. Next is the cosmid. So the cosmid, for example, a PGB8. So cosmid is made up of the cos gene, and the cos gene is from the, so this site is from the phase, and all others, this all other region is from the plasmid. So this cos site is only from the phase and all other from the plasmid. That's why it's called a cosmid. So it's a combination of gene. So we can insert about 40 to 45 kilobase per of gene into the of the any side, either this marker gene or, okay, so here we insert our desired gene. After the insertion, pack the lambda phase into this lambda phase, then pack into the virus, and then virus infect the bacteria. So here we pack this, and then this bacteria enter into our host cell bacteria. So cos site is required to just for the circularization. So after the insertion of the into the bacteria this plasmid, then this plasmid to recircularize for that required. Next is transposome. So this is a structure of transposome, and transposome is also used for a transfer of desired gene into the host cell, and also for the insertion mutation you can see on a screen. Next is the liposome, is also used for a transfer of desired gene into the host cell, and this is directly used. So this can attach, this is nothing but a phospholipid membrane, lipid. So the lipid bilayer membrane, and when this insert into the host cell, when this inserted into the host cell, then it is merged with the host cell like this and becomes the part of this host cell. Okay, and then this desired gene is inserted into the host. So this is all about the two steps of rDNA technology. Number one is the selection and isolation of desired gene, and number two is a selection of vector. I hope this video is helpful for you.